So on the one hand, you have this goal of like, I don't want to be sick, but I also don't want to feel like I'm in stress mode and like really tight the whole day long, right? Because being in that stress mode all day long, that's what can lead down the line to inflammation and to sickness and to sick days, right?
Hi, I'm Maude, and this is the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast, where we crack the code to real estate success. Learn from top realtors, entrepreneurs, and innovators about how to grow your business as we discuss real estate success stories, mindset, processes, motivations, and the key to their success. Check out our podcast episodes every Monday to crack the code to success for your real estate business. This week, I'm speaking with Cristina Tahoces from Thrive Nutrition Practice. Cristina focuses on empowering the physical and mental health of busy leaders through targeted nutritional therapy. With the stress level of the real estate industry at its highest, most realtors have two common goals: 0 sick days and reduce stress intake. If you're hoping to reduce stress, deal with your clients with more empathy, take 0 sick days, and thrive in your business, you'll love my chat with Cristina. Hi Cristina, thanks for joining us on the episode today. Tell us, how can realtors stay on top of their game?
Gosh, it is a very stressful time for realtors. I mean, the realtor profession is already very stressful as it is. And so I think over the last 18 months, they've had to kind of take on a lot more stress that maybe they even have anticipated, because not only is the nature of the business stressful, being on commission and, you've got all those like upfront costs that you have to take on and everything else, but everyone around us is more stressed too, right?
Yeah, and you're dealing with humans, dealing with people.
Exactly. It's a people-based business, and it's a people-based business where you're engaging with people during one of the most, in any event, one of the most stressful times in their life. So it's not like an event that could bring out the best of us. It's kind of like waiting in a queue at the airport, right? Like that doesn't bring out the best in us sometimes. Going through the buying and the selling process of either buying or selling a house is also very stressful. It doesn't bring out the best in us. Plus, we've got all of the sort of the added stressors from COVID, the added risk and exposure we're taking on, and so it becomes a very complicated picture that realtors have to manage with a smile. And so what I do in my business as a nutritionist is I help people use food and nutrition in order to be more resilient to stress. So there are many things that you can do to stay on top of your game, but food is the one thing that we have control over 3 times during our day, right?
True.
And it's something that we do automatically. Like it's kind of like, we eat, we sleep, we brush our teeth, right? It's kind of, things that come naturally to us on our day. So I try to help people maximize those times in the day so that they can really help increase their resilience to stress and have an optimal stress response. Because stress is what it is, right? You're going to have those people texting you. You're going to have your clients texting you. You're going to have to drum up business. You're going to have to, do all those things that you need to do over the course of the day. And so the question is, how do you stay on top of that? How do you be resilient? And food is such a great way and such a great resource to help you do that. And I know we're going to get into all of the little tips.
I know, I'm just like, yeah, you mentioned a few things. So like real estate already super stressful from both point of view, getting your own business and dealing with people. But the other thing you mentioned too is like food. Like for realtors, I see the lifestyle is eat in your car, eat between meetings, eat on the go. So I'm interested to hear how you help realtors maximize their food intake. Deal with the stress.
So I always start from kind of a goal point of view, right? So, and for realtors, given what they need to do to succeed in their business, right? They
Yeah.
need to be present every day, right? So they can't afford to get sick. So that's a big goal for them,
Yeah.
right? Like no sick days, 0 sick days, please. I can't afford to get sick, right? And then the other thing that they deal with is how do I lower my nervous system? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because they are on all the time, right? The clients are texting you all times of the day,
Yeah.
right? So you've got that stress there from the clients, right? Where you're being assaulted by emails all the time or by texts all the time. And people now, because we've got these devices, right? Like now we're expected to, be online for everybody. So on the one hand, you have this goal of like, I don't want to be sick, but I also don't want to feel like I'm in stress mode and like really tight the whole day long, right? Because being in that stress mode all day long, that's what can lead down the line to inflammation and to sickness and to sick days, right?
Yeah.
So how do we use food within this context to reach our goals, right? To reach that 0 sick days and to calm our nervous system. So there are a few hacks that I like to employ, and I think they work really great for busy people because at the end of the day, most of my clients are, clients with high stress profiles, very busy people who are traveling a lot of the time, and who really just don't have that much time to dedicate to making like meals like
Perfect meals.
worthy of an Instagram picture, right? Like no one has time for that, right? So there are three things that I like to recommend. The first one is drink water. Stay on top of your water intake. I get a lot of people who, ask me, what supplements should I be taking? Should I be taking vitamin C? Which one? Should I be taking this, that, the other? You can. And if you've got money for that, fantastic, great. But drinking water is the one thing that you can do that is absolutely free, doesn't cost you a thing. And it provides so many benefits in terms of its detoxification potential. So it keeps the body in flow, it keeps you regular, right? Our gut is a big focal point of our immune system. And drinking enough water is one of those core pillars of having good gut health, right? So I think about 70% of our immune function is located in our gut. So if we're not drinking the water that we need to drink in order to stay in flow and keep our gut health optimal, then that's a big point. And a lot of us start the day with like coffee, right?
Yeah.
Which, before anyone starts freaking out, I'm not saying don't drink coffee. I'm saying start the day with like, I've got a glass of water right here.
Yeah.
Let's start the day with like one, maybe 2 glasses of that. And, you're going from client to client, pop a water bottle in your bag and just kind of make sure that you keep drinking throughout the day. That's one of the best things that you can do because we wake up completely dehydrated. We lose a liter of water in our sleep. So we really need to replenish that in order to clear the brain fog, improve our gut health, and get our cognitive function working, our clarity going, to get us detoxing properly in every day and to stay healthy, right? So that's the first thing. That's my number one free tip hack.
Nice.
The other thing that I like to recommend, and that again, super easy, doesn't require a lot of time, is to eat protein with every meal. So you can boil a dozen eggs, keep them in your fridge, pop one out, have it for breakfast, or pop one in a Tupperware so that you can have it at lunch with maybe some like cup, like a salad or, whatever else that you're eating on the side, or whatever it is that you're eating. So making sure that you're having that protein with every meal is really important. And this not only helps you with your immune function, so it not only helps you with, that goal of achieving 0 sick days, but it also really helps calm our nervous system because
Oh.
protein has a lot of amino acids
Mm-hmm.
that help us build things like build neurotransmitters like serotonin.
Okay.
And serotonin is our happy hormone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So when we are eating, I tell my kids when you have protein, they're like having little bites of happiness because, and it's true because they're full of B vitamins that are really important for mental health. And they are built from these amino acids that then help our body build serotonin and our sleep hormone melatonin,
Mm,
right?
interesting.
So yeah, so really easy. As I said, you can like boil a bunch of eggs so you have those readily available. Once a week I do like a pot of beans so that I can easily pop those into salads. If you've got tins of tuna in your pantry, you can open one of those and pop it in a salad. So really having like very easy, readily available sources of protein, be it plant-based, so like beans, for example, or be it animal-based, like tuna or eggs or smoked salmon or whatever it is that you want.
Mhm.
But having those easy proteins that you can add, you got a takeout salad, add the protein, you know,
Yeah.
really easy. Yeah, so those are sort of the big two ones. And the third one that I'd like to offer to the listeners is to just make sure you stay on top of your vitamin C intake during the day. So have a fruit. Oranges are plentiful now and they're in season. You're having your lunch, even if it was a takeout lunch or whatever, like pop a fruit in your bag, have that apple, have that orange, or have that kiwi in the morning with your breakfast. Staying on top of your vitamin C intake is also really important, and not just from an immunity perspective. We all know, like our mom always told us, drink your orange juice, if you're sick. But it is also really important from a stress resilience point of view, because studies do show that people who have good vitamin C in their levels in their body are more resilient to stress. They can go from one stressful situation to another much more easily. And that for realtors
Is
is pretty
amazing.
key, because those, realtors are going from one stressful situation. They're like answering that text from the client and going to a viewing in a matter of minutes, right? So,
Lawyers,
um,
mortgage brokers, approvals, buyer
yeah,
sellers, all of it. Yeah.
they're juggling a million different balls during the day. They've got to be on top of it. And these are the nutrients that are really the building blocks for our stress hormones, for
Mhm.
our neurotransmitters. So they're really the building blocks for good mental health and for a good immune system.
I love it. Yeah, building your
Mhm.
system is what will keep you off the sickness,
Absolutely.
off the sick day.
Absolutely.
So it's
Yes.
water, protein, and vitamin C.
Yes.
Right.
And just having them easy peasy, readily available in the fridge so that you can just pop it into whatever you're
Yeah.
eating and doing. And starting the day with water is really important. Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about stress. So how do you help with stress management? What kind of advice do you have in those areas?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that I find my clients tell me is that, you know, we keep hearing about mindfulness and meditation and these kinds of techniques,
Yeah.
and getting enough sleep, right? Like I know realtors really struggle with getting enough sleep, for example, because, theirs is a 24-hour a day business.
Yeah.
They wear a lot of hats, right? So not only are they realtor, but they also have to be the promoter of their business. They are doing the admin. They're doing
Yeah.
like everything that needs doing in a business. They're doing the accounting. They're doing it all, right? So it's very hard because realtors get to bed late, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they wake up really early in the morning, not to mention the fact that many of them have families and kids, so there's a lot. It's not just their business, it's their personal life too that they're trying to juggle all at the same time. So in that context, what I hear a lot is, I'm so wired,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Like I want to get to sleep, like even on days where it's like 10 o'clock or 10:30, I want to get to sleep and I'm so wired, right? And I can't be mindful. I can't, um, meditate. I can't, like it is hard to get there, right? Because we've been switched on the whole day. We've
Yeah.
been responding to stress the whole day, and we can't just kind of like click it off, right? At the, and tell our body, hey, time to go to sleep. Off you go, right?
Unwired.
Um, exactly. So for me, I as a nutritionist, I like to start with, what are what are the things that you're doing during the day that are either supporting your resilience to stress or telling your body and your mind in a very intentional way that it's okay to switch off, so that when you do need to switch off, your body understands that it has permission to do it.
Wow.
And it can sound a little hokey, but it's true, because how many of us, we have dinner, we put on Netflix, right? And suddenly it's like,
I got an idea. I forgot to do this. I gotta do that.
well, and not only that, but do you ever think like, oh, I wonder if I have some chocolate in the cupboard?
Mm.
Or I've got these cravings now for like chips or chocolate or biscuits or something that I can't, like they're really strong right now. You know, are those cravings because you're hungry? No, no one's hungry after dinner, right? Like these are stress cravings, right? This is your body going like, oh, you've just gotten in front of the TV, you're relaxing now, but I'm not used to relaxing. I'm used to being on, right? So what are you going to give me, right? Like what, what are you going to, because, sugar, when you eat sugar, when you eat chips, carbohydrates or whatever, that's, your body produces a response to that. Your body intakes sugar. And so your body produces an insulin response to that. And, it's a way of switching your body on, right? It's a way of keeping your body, your nervous system on.
Yeah.
Um, so I always like to start with, okay, give me your food diary. Let's see what's going on. How many coffees are you taking in during the day? Is that preventing your body from switching off, right? Because quite often what I see is, in realtors, they're going from like appointment to appointment. They'll pop into the Starbucks, they'll get a coffee or, whatever. So there's quite a lot of caffeine intake during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that alone can keep the body in an elevated state of nervousness, right? Like in an elevated nervous system state. So let's see what's going on from a food perspective, and let's see what we can add to your food in terms of those vitamin C rich foods, in terms of, protein, in terms of water, that can help support your body. And instead of waiting until maybe like 8 o'clock to start dimming the lights and, switch off or put the phone in like low light mode, or, instead of waiting until 8 p.m., what can you do during the day to try to just switch off a little bit, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So I teach my clients, there's a breathing technique that I really like. And that is easy to use. You don't need an app. You don't need to dedicate 10 minutes to it, but really sometimes just connecting with your breath. So I'll just demonstrate it for you, Maude, if you like.
Yeah, great.
So I ask my clients to put their right hand on their belly and their left hand on their chest, and just close their eyes and breathe in through the nose for 4 counts and hold it there. And then just let it go through the mouth for 8 counts.
Okay.
So that your exhale is double the length of your inhale.
Okay.
So you can do that for like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you have time. Like if you're in the car waiting for your client, instead of refreshing your feed on your phone or, scrolling through Instagram, which a lot of people do to switch off, right? But that's not really switching off. Your nervous system is still plugged in when you're on your social feed, right?
Yeah,
So if you just take a moment, and really a moment is all you need, to just connect your body and your mind with your breath, using that technique of breathing in through the nose for 4 counts and exhaling for 8. That is a really, really effective way of just taking a moment to switch off the nervous system and give your body and your mind the signal that it's okay, you can relax, right? And then that becomes a bit of muscle memory, right? So that when you do go to sleep, for example, your body recognizes that, yeah, you've trained it to recognize that it has that permission. And over time, it does get easier to switch into rest and relaxation mode.
totally. Have you seen like a switch into since the pandemic? Because I know a lot of people were very wired the whole time,
Mhm.
go, appointments, caffeine, and with maybe more Zoom and working from home, it would show up in different ways, like you said, social media feed.
Mhm. You mean how is the stress showing up?
Yeah, how did the stress change, I guess, from pre-pandemic to today?
Um, I think specifically for realtors, I think the nature of the business hasn't changed that much. I mean, I guess it also depends on whether you're on the buy side or the sell side.
Mm.
It's been a seller's market, right? So I guess they've probably been a lot busier if you're sort of more focused on the sell side. What I would say is that the 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 nervous system of everyone as a whole has kind of leveled up, right? So, you know, um, as we were talking at the very beginning, like this is a very stressful job, and you're dealing with people during a very, very stressful time in their lives. And now, though, that body of people who are your clients are also much more stressed
Yeah,
because of the pandemic, right? So I feel like if we were kind of like, if we were at a level of burnout here during, pre-pandemic, we're kind of now operating from here.
yes.
And so as a result, it's harder to practice empathy, which is such an important skill in this market, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to, practice compassion, and I mean, what I like to say is the food we choose to eat, right? Eating intentionally, is a way of practicing loving kindness towards ourselves, right?
I love
So
it.
choosing those foods with intention in a way that's really kind of, because we only have 3 times a day that we can eat, if that. And so making the choice to really fuel our body instead of just filling the belly,
Mm.
is really, really important. And so I think if anything, what I've noticed is that everyone as a whole understands that we're in a level of burnout that is, as a community, we're at a level of burnout that is higher.
Mm.
And I think people are asking themselves the question of like, okay, how can I be more intentional in my life so that we can operate at this level while we wait for,
For it to
you
come
know,
down.
things to kind of come down. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. Brings you back to the bites of happiness from the protein.
Yeah,
So it's a whole
yeah, yeah,
makes sense.
exactly.
Very
Well,
cool.
we don't really eat with rationally, right? Like we don't make rational choices with food, right? If we all made rational choices with food, then I would totally be out of a job because everybody would be eating like broccoli and kale and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah, we eat emotionally. We are emotional beings. So and it's really easy to go for the sugar, especially when we're stressed. We want that reward. We see sugar and tasty, lovely things as a reward, right? We don't often, sorry?
sugar and carbs both are like
Sugar and
really
carbs,
cute.
and alcohol. We want that glass of wine or that, beer, or whatever at the end of the day. And we see that as a reward for, a good job done. And it can be part of a holistic, healthy lifestyle. But from my perspective as a nutritionist, I try to answer the question, okay, what nutrients are you missing? Right? You're eating this and that's fine. Okay. But what are you missing in order to build that resiliency into your day so that we can assure you that your immune system is going to be robust and that you're going to have a strong response to stress that is not going to leave you at the end of the day sick and depleted.
Yeah, I love it. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Where do we find you? Where do we find, how do we contact you? And when, what services do you offer?
Yes. So you can find me on www.thrivenutritionpractice.com. I have got a few kind of freebies that I like to give to my high stress people. So I've got a 0 sick days guide that you can download that's full of like super easy recipes and a guide to kind of keep you healthy. I also have my famous throat gargle recipe there to nip sore throats in the bud. So you can go and download that from my link tree. I'll also have a recording of a free webinar that I'm doing with my fitness coach, Amy Araventinos. She has been able to take years off her bunions and works with also helping people reduce their foot pain. So we're doing a webinar on that, and that'll be available in a recording to everybody. I know that real estate agents are on their feet all day long.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might be of interest to them as well. And I offer private consultations and, group coaching programs throughout the year. So yeah, you can come and check me out on my website, but also I'm on Facebook as Thrive Nutrition Practice. And I'm on Instagram as at Thrive NP Cristina. So you
Okay.
can reach me all of those ways. Oh, and by email, of course, Cristina, Cristina, at thrivenutritionpractice.com.
Nice. Amazing. Thank you so much. You have lots of tips to offer, lots of good advice for stressed out real estate agents for sure.
Yeah, well, I hope it's useful, and I wish everybody a very, happy start to the new year. And if there's anything that I can do to help support you in your business, let me know.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Subscribe to our podcast, Realtors Conspiracy, today.